Okay, guys, so this is week one, and this is collaboration, where normally, in companies, we do need collaboration for any project between employees or contractors. So, oh, guys, are you able to hear me? Cameron says he cannot hear anything. Are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me? Anyone? Oh, okay. So Hamid says yes. So Cameron, please check your audio. All others can hear. Alright, thank you guys. Loud and clear. Okay, thank you. So, yeah, as you were saying, as I was saying there, that collaboration is something that obviously is expected in the company, and different employees and contractors, they're talking to each other, they're collaborating on the projects. So then technology companies came up with the software for collaboration as well. So Office 365 does offer that collaboration um, and content management systems where the content can be managed by a system. Basically, what it means in English is that we have huge amount of content being created by every company daily. There are documents being created, PowerPoint slides being created, project files, Microsoft project files being created. So all that content has to be managed properly and has to be accessed properly as well. So for that purpose, okay, you can hear it. So for that purpose, obviously the companies are going for those software which are best in, um, really, offering all the tools and to openly, just clearly, securely, that is, share files and folders with each other. And the company's most critical asset is data nowadays, right? Or majority of the company's most critical asset is data, and that data is leaked, the companies can go down, companies can crash, companies, all secrets are sold to their rivals. So in that case, the companies would really want the data to be fully secured. So obviously, not only that's secured, but also that they could collaborate with each other, share their data with each other securely. And there are many intuitive tools there, very creative tools there to work on a project, share all the data or whatever data needs to be shared with whoever. That is all managed in a software, in an application. And SharePoint is Microsoft's best available collaboration enterprise grade application. So it's not only SharePoint, actually, it's the Microsoft Teams. Now that has come out as a really state of the art with advanced tools or tools that are available nowadays in pretty much every company. Those tools have been introduced in Microsoft Teams. Microsoft has been investing in the enterprise grade application called Teams, and there are so many jobs out there for the whole, Microsoft 365 technology. And if you are expert in that, as we already know that Microsoft 365 is it has Exchange Online and SharePoint Online and Teams Online, then Azure Active Directory Online. So the SharePoint is an enterprise grade application that really talks about all this offers the tools that we really need for collaboration, to run projects, to share files securely with each other, to outside people like contractors. Now, SharePoint Online is a cloud-based service that helps organizations share and collaborate with colleagues, partners, and customers. With SharePoint Online, you can access internal sites. Now, some of you may have created websites before, maybe on GoDaddy.com, or purchased a domain from some domain registrar, yourname.com or some other company name.com, and then may have created websites there for companies, for your own self. You may have created websites. So this SharePoint offers us to create internal websites for the companies. Now the templates are always available, but you just have to change. Select the template that best suits the needs of your company. Suppose it's a construction company, so you will go for a template that suits the needs of your construction company. Or else if it's a hospital, you want to create a internal website for the hospital, or for insurance company, or for colleges. So the intranet will be different. Intranet is just internal website for the employees, for the users, for students, for in a hospital, for doctors, nurses. So SharePoint does offer you to create internal sites, and then you can upload and share documents. We're going to see it just like we share with in file servers, the documents. We can share it here as well in SharePoint. But SharePoint is not just about uploading and sharing documents and creating websites. It's quite in depth, and you can connect many financial applications to SharePoint, and databases to SharePoint as well. So it's a pretty complicated enterprise grade application. And in previous years, we were doing SharePoint on-premises installation. So in our desktop machines, we were doing SharePoint installations. But then we started to going online from the last two courses. Last 2 years, we've started also adding SharePoint Online, and so the whole SharePoint on premises is exactly the same as SharePoint Online. We just don't have to worry about the underlying hardware and the operating system. It's a SaaS based application, so it's a software as a service. So we just need to work online. Now, just like we worked on Exchange Online, we can work on SharePoint Online as well. Since the topic is content management systems, well, that's not exactly the name of the course. Obviously, the name of the course is collaboration, right? So collaboration has actually not only SharePoint is available in collaboration software, but also it has Teams available. Now that's another emerging application. Pretty much every company is using that Microsoft Teams now, and it offers meetings and conferences. You can have local cell phone numbers there. Local Toronto. Suppose you're doing a meeting in and you're in Toronto or GTA, so a local number by Microsoft is provided to you. Now, so it's not only just SharePoint that has the features of collaboration. If I go to the course content here, and it's on your Blackboard as well, and if we go down to the main points of the course here, we're going to be talking about SharePoint pretty much throughout the course, but what I wanted to add there was Teams as well, because it's not new anymore. I was going to say latest edition. Yes, it is latest in terms of all the other enterprise grade software in Microsoft 365 suite of software. So, but Teams is so important nowadays with when it comes to collaboration, that I will actually put some Teams related information and labs here as well. So SharePoint, obviously you will know in depth. We will be checking all the features of SharePoint, but You should know about Teams as well. I recently got a contract. In fact, at 5 o'clock, it finished, and then I'm connected here at 6 o'clock, and I was like, oh man. So all day they really gave a lot of tasks, and then a 4 hour class here. So, but today's introduction, so it's not going to be 4 hour. So, okay, guys, here what I'm trying to say is that the contract that I got recently, and I keep doing contracts there with different companies. So, this is particularly they wanted a person with Microsoft 365, skills, and Microsoft Azure skills. So they have the whole environment online, but it's not a big company. It's a small company. It's they have big budget but small company. So that's what we can say. Some companies are small. They don't need thousands of employees, but they're earning well. So that's one of those companies. So they just wanted Microsoft 365, and in the interview they asked about SharePoint, they asked about Exchange Online, they asked about Azure Active Directory for security, and they asked about Teams as well. Well, there is more. There is Microsoft Intune that you can work on devices and connect to devices as well, and really check them out from central location in the cloud. All the company laptops, desktops, cell phones, and tablets. So, Microsoft 365 is a whole package for any size company, and SharePoint is one of the most important enterprise grade applications of any company that has Microsoft 365. And you would know that Microsoft 365 is pretty much in a majority of the companies across the planet, especially after pandemic. Millions more joined, millions of more companies. Actually, first they went for Google Suite. Many of them, they found out some of the loopholes there, some of the security wise and collaboration wise and ease of use. In terms of those factors, then they had to shift towards Microsoft 365 for the collaboration. So, what I'm saying is that SharePoint, yes, we will be talking about that, but I'll be including Teams as well, because once you go to the market to search, look for jobs there, so they will be asking for Microsoft Teams as well. So I'm going to be adding some labs for Teams here for. So you should know that what's latest in the market right now. Normally, the courses in different colleges they are not really up to date, or they should be upgraded or updated sooner. So, um, I'm just saying that I'm gonna be adding another enterprise grade software called Teams while we will be going for SharePoint. So that's the course outline that is available on the Blackboard, and I'll be then. Okay, this is system collaboration. So I have added some instructions for the other course, but here I have yet to add. So I will be adding those quickly. I'll be putting up the slide there. So if you go back to the slide, we were talking about content management systems. That's the day one topic there. So what is SharePoint, and what is Teams also? How do collaboration really work? And normally you would go for its rival, that is Office. No, Google G Suite. Maybe some of you have used Google G Suite as well. So, but most companies would go for Office 365. So you would be asked a lot of questions in the interview for Office 365, which is not, obviously we should be calling it the newer name, which is Microsoft 365. Now, we talked about SharePoint, and then there is SharePoint powers sharing and collaboration on the intranet. So this is the company's inside environment. Obviously, suppose you have a Toronto branch here, and you have another branch in New York or Tokyo or whichever city. So Toronto branch, and you have here in New York branch. So you have servers there. Excuse me. So here you have lots of servers. Suppose there are thousands of employees in this branch, and there are thousands of employees in that branch as well, and you need to give them obviously some information all the time in which should look like websites. So normally companies create intranets there. So intranet is just a website that is internal to the employees, and then suppose there are two intranets, so you can create extranet. This is called extranet, which is that two intranets are connected to each other, and the employees of New York branch, suppose it's the same company, and whatever announcement is going on, or whatever data sharing is going on here, can be shared on the other side as well. So there is that intranet in both branches, and then there's extranet, which means that both intranets. So intranet is just for the local employees, but extranet would be that the employees of the other branch, other company, can see your intranet as well, but no one outside on the internet can see your local sites there, or intranet sites. So that used to be the case way back when HTML based sites were there. They still are there, but then there are more collaboration tools that came, and you would install an operating system on a Windows server, on a physical server, and then you would install an application called Sharepoint on top of that. That would also provide you the internal website or intranet that you would create otherwise with just HTML code there. So when Sharepoint was installed, so Sharepoint could connect with also other applications, like you would have on the other server SQL app server here, and on top of the OS. So Sharepoint, normally when you deploy on premises, it does create its own database during the deployment in the SQL server. Here online, obviously you would have everything, or underlying or backend of the Sharepoint would be all covered by Microsoft 365. So there would be a database that would be created. If you see the older videos or older courses of Sharepoint, we had to create virtual machines, and then we would install a SQL server in one virtual machine and install a full Sharepoint on premises on another virtual machine, and then Sharepoint would just create its database during installation on the SQL server machine. So setting up the whole environment on premises, excuse me. So setting up the whole environment on premises, that has been, well, we don't have to go through that, it's cut away, and now we have the same Sharepoint up here in the cloud. So that Sharepoint Online is also just offering the same services, obviously, but you don't have to create a database, you don't have to install SQL Server, everything's managed in the background. So we know that already through Exchange Online, what we had to do on premises, and how easy it was, or easier, like comparatively easy, we can say. Otherwise, Sharepoint itself, Exchange Online itself is also tough, even online, and that's why there are so many jobs for Exchange Online admins there, Sharepoint Online admins, Teams Online, Azure Active Directory Online. So, Sharepoint also does create all the sites and connect to databases. Now, connecting to databases here is a bit different from what I was showing, or I'm showing here in on-premises virtual machines. The mere installation, only installation of Sharepoint requires that there has to be a database installed. But once it is fully installed, then you can connect Sharepoint's many features. I'm going to be introducing a lot of terminology now here about Sharepoint, and some of those components of Sharepoint after installation can still connect with a database, and whatever is inside the database. There's a big lab there which it requires that if Office 365 is connected to Microsoft Azure Infrastructure as a Service, so Azure IaaS. So, in IaaS, well, that's the other course that is already we're gonna start next week. We're gonna go for AWS basically for infrastructure as a service, where you can create, the whole virtual data center is on. You can just use any of those services. Like you can create virtual machines there. You can create networks there. You can create also databases there. So databases, right? So that's uh, this is the whole data center. Whatever you can do in a data center, you can create storage there as well. So that's what you can do in a Microsoft Azure or AWS Azure. For Did I say AWS Azure? Seriously, what's wrong with me? AWS or in AWS as well, which is Amazon Web Services. And our course, the other course, the cloud management, is all about AWS. We're going to be going for, but then we're going to be comparing the whole AWS with our other rivals like Azure and Google Cloud as well. So what I was saying here, that if there was one lab that I was doing in another college, that we created a virtual machine, we created a database there on Azure. Then we connected that database to SharePoint over the internet securely with encrypted data. So the main thing was that this is a separate platform, and SharePoint, although both are Microsoft products, but over the internet you can create a database on Azure. We actually saw that in our SQL classes, that we were forced to create a database on top of Azure. So once you create that database, you can actually connect it over the internet to your SharePoint sites as well. And whatever data is being input, suppose there's a big company and they're putting a lot of huge data here, so that data would automatically copy from Microsoft Azure to Microsoft 365 SharePoint sites. So uh, if it's the same company that owns both, then yes, it is much easier. The same credentials you use to log in here would be the same credentials you would use to log in here as well. So what I'm trying to say here is the SharePoint Online can go really complicated as well once you start connecting outside applications there. Oops. When you start connecting outside applications here, right? So SharePoint, yes, it's for collaboration, but it also connects with SQL Server. It also connects with financial applications. It also connects with hospital applications or insurance company applications, because normally the developers nowadays, they know that companies will be using SharePoint, so they do create such connectivity of their financial software or hospital software or insurance company software that can actually insert a lot of data into SharePoint. SharePoint normally collects files of all types, and you can also connect a lot of applications to SharePoint as well. So what I'm saying is that if yes, you can create, you can still install SharePoint on premises, but the latest trend is that normally companies are going towards SharePoint Online because it's easier to maintain, it's less expensive, and because majority of the companies have already gone there, so you would see SharePoint Online always there in, well, majority of the companies. Also, also there is Teams that I will include, because I've seen in the market when it comes to collaboration, SharePoint and Teams is used a lot, right? So if SharePoint is sharing documents and connecting to applications, what Teams is doing in terms of collaboration, it is, you can launch meetings and conferences, and project collaboration can be done here as well. So that's where uh, I had to include this Teams Online, because how project collaboration is done there is amazing. And how it is done in SharePoint, it's pretty typical, just like we used to share files in the file server as well. But in Teams Online, it's a bit more advanced. So that's why, this is a course of collaboration, I'm going to just insert some labs for Teams as well, and it's going to be very beneficial for you when you go out to check when you're going out for interviews. Okay, so uh, when I talk about SharePoint, yes, it is online and it is on premises as well. And then I talked about that Teams and SharePoint are actually interrelated as well. They have connected each other. When you create a SharePoint site, then automatically a team gets created. Now, this is totally new terminology. Team gets created. What is that? So obviously, we're gonna be going through that, and we're gonna check that. But what I'm saying is that the two different enterprise grade applications have full interconnectivity with each other. One is offering you sites and connectivity with outside applications and sharing of documents as well. The other is offering you, we can say, live collaboration in terms of meetings and conferences, and the actual software that you have to see and experience is the Teams software itself. Many of you might have used that already. Since I'm talking about that, so if I just go ahead, there's that Microsoft Teams here. So during the course I will be asking you to install this very small Teams software, and then we're going to explore how collaboration is done in Teams software. We're going to create that Office 365 Enterprise 5 trial version again. Just like for Exchange Online we created that, we can create as many of those Enterprise 5 trial versions, right? So we're going to be creating Enterprise 5 trial version again, and this time we're going to be using SharePoint Online and Teams Online. So if the course is just SharePoint, then this is for your own benefit, obviously, that you should know what's in the market now and in near future, that you will see Teams everywhere. Already it is everywhere, I guess. So this is software that you will be installing. If you already have it, that's good. Otherwise, it is just, you Google it, download Teams, and it will just take you to one Microsoft link there. That is this. So it will look like Microsoft. And also we're going to be installing it on our cell phones, and then I'll show you how to do a meeting and conferencing, and what kind of advanced services Microsoft has given when we are doing meetings and conferences, and how to create one meeting and conference, right? So with SharePoint, we're going to be adding Teams as well, so I'll be adding some Teams related information. SharePoint powers sharing and collaboration on the intranet, so we talked about intranet there. Yes, when I was talking about Teams, one more thing that I wanted to mention here was that on-premises, was there ever an on-premises version of Teams? Teams is pretty much online, but yes, there were some software that were available. So unified messaging used to be the enterprise grade software that you had to install on your physical servers, and it would also offer the same thing that Teams is offering, and that is meetings can be configured, and call bridges could be created. Call bridges. So it would connect to telecom as well. Like Teams is connected to your telecom, your voice over IP phones. If you have in the company, you have VoIP phones, right? Voice over IP. So those phones could be connected to your Teams. Can be connected to your Teams online while it is online, but they used to be connected with this older software called unified messaging that used to do the same exact thing that Teams does. But that was much older, and then there were some newer versions of that collaboration software came, and that was Skype for Business. Microsoft then went for first Link software came, then came Skype for Business, and well, Skype is also available online, and we may have seen that in the mailbox of Exchange Online, that Skype or S was written there for chat. But now the latest one where Microsoft is investing millions of dollars, that is Teams software. Now Teams is not available on premises as an enterprise grade server. Yes, the client application is there, which I just showed you, but you don't have to install the enterprise grade. There is no enterprise grade application called Teams there. Skype for Business used to be there, Link used to be there, and Unified Messaging used to be there. So Skype for Business is still in some companies. Maybe Link is still in some companies because companies may not have updated. Companies are normally terribly slow in upgrading software. So you would see in some companies, big companies, Link is there. Then you should know that it's also for meetings and conferences and collaboration. But now Microsoft is fully investing in Teams. So, and that is online. So that's not available on premises as an enterprise grade server. Its client is available, and I just showed you Teams client, right? So, but it is online. Skype for Business has online, Link online as well, but their on-premises versions are Link actually is not online. So these two guys are online: Skype for Business and Teams online. Link is on premises, and Unified Messaging is on premises. So these are the older versions, and that's the new one. Okay, if we go ahead and so build sites and portals that engage people, connecting them to expertise, content, actionable insights, and collective knowledge. So that's what SharePoint does: drive organizational efficiency by sharing applications that streamline processes. So this is all continuation of processes, creation of processes, manage and share files or folders within team sites or intranet sites, and inside or outside your organization. So basically, you can just share all the connectivity and meetings and conferences outside as well to different organization. Now, suppose the employees are connected to a meeting here, and one employee or several employees are actually outside, and they want to connect to your meeting that is internally going on in the company. So as we know that Teams is connected with telecom as well, so it's connected with, suppose well, it has collaboration with local ISPs there, or and also local telecom operators like Bell, Rogers, and others, right? So Teams can provide, as soon as you create a subscription, Microsoft Teams provides you the local Toronto number, or you're in London, England, so European local number there. And so basically, when you subscribe to Microsoft 365, especially E5 package or Enterprise 5 package, you get SharePoint Online, and you get Teams, and Teams is already connected to your GTA telecom operators. So when you open a subscription of Teams within Canada or within GTS, so you will get the local number for GTA automatically, and we will all get that too, and we will check from that local number if we can create meetings and calls there, right? And people can actually call from, they can dial a local Toronto number, and they can connect to your Teams meetings as well. So we're going to try to do all that. We're going to create some meetings there in Teams as well, and I'm going to show you that how SharePoint is so much interconnected with Teams software. Okay, so if we go ahead, then there is SharePoint Online collaboration software. So there's an intro page link here that if I switch to push. Now this is obviously the packages are there: SharePoint Online 1, Plan 2, and then there's Office 365 E3, and obviously we know that there's E5 there as well, and we're going to be creating E5 package or subscription there, just like for Exchange Online we created there, right? So this is just for SharePoint. It's just sharing the SharePoint plans there. SharePoint, your mobile intelligent intranet. So this is the main page for SharePoint, and I'll just put it in WebEx. And yes, today we need to connect as well to the OneNote, and I'll be putting everything on obviously the Blackboard as well. But I'll just put the links here. So SharePoint. Oh, that's not cloud. So I'll be sharing. In fact, you know what? Day one, we should just set up everything. So either by the end of the class, I'll do that. Whoever's ID is there, I'll just add it there. I'll just grab the IDs from Blackboard, and we'll add you all there. So this link, we're gonna go there, and yeah. Okay, no chat. So it's all about share and manage content, knowledge, and applications to empower teamwork, quickly find information, and seamlessly collaborate across the organization. And get the SharePoint mobile app as well. So there's Teams mobile app, and then there's a SharePoint mobile app as well. But you can, since they are so interconnected, so better go for Teams than SharePoint mobile app unless you're working specifically on SharePoint. So simple sharing and seamless collaboration, it says, engage and inform your organization. So you can create websites here that's for commercial use. Obviously, no personal website templates are there. For companies, when you want to create sub-sites of that website, harness collective knowledge. So other than that, transform business processes, and then go to SharePoint resources. Now we're going to start, in fact, we should be going for at least creating our Office 365 E5 now, and then I'm going to continue with our this SharePoint introduction and Teams introduction. So how about we go ahead now? We have faced those issues before as well, that some of the students were not able to log in or create that Office 365 Enterprise 5 package. So first of all, what we can do is we can go to that link that for which the link that we used before to create Enterprise 5 for Exchange Online. So what we can do now is let's create a free 30-day excuse me, subscription to Office 365 Enterprise 5 E5, and then make sure that we are able to open SharePoint Online and Teams Online, right? So for this, let's create that site. I'm just gonna send you the link. Well, you can just go to incognito would be better. Why? Because you're already, or I'm already logged into this Office 365 for George Brown. So I'm going to go incognito here, new incognito window, and then, well, we have to just search for Office 365 365 E5 trial, right? So we did that in last course as well. So Office 365 E5 trial here, and if you write in Google, then you would find those links to create a trial version of Enterprise 5. So I can see this Microsoft 365 Enterprise 5. Hopefully you've gone incognito there, and it takes switch to Canada. Okay. I'll try to put that link here in WebEx and also in class, so it would be collab course and Office 365 E5 URL. I'm putting it in the WhatsApp as well. So once we are on that link, and it may not open for you the same page, but we're just going to go for free trial here. Once we go to the free trial, okay, yeah. So that link is there, and if you have clicked that link, so you should be on this page where it is asking for your email address, and you can give your personal email address like Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, whichever you use frequently. And then I'll just put my email address here, idguyamia@gmail.com. So it would just tell me that if I already have Office 365 subscription here available. So I'm going to click next here for after putting my email, and it says that isn't currently available for your school associated with IDGIME. If you want to set up with trial version, yes, that's what we exactly want to do. So so I'm in this page, Amir says, and oh yeah, you reminded me, I need to change my name here. Okay, so here oh, you're in collaboration page. No, Amir, I put another link there in WhatsApp as well as the second one right above your comment. You can click that second link. Right, okay. And guys, once you're there, you can just click the free trial, and then we're gonna go for create new, right? So once you click the create new here, so you're gonna put your information there. So I'll just go for ER and middle name Sayed and Shahzad. Okay. Business phone, yes, your phone number 647-554-9446. My phone number is there. Company name is Josh Brown. Okay. Or just go for GB. And company size, whatever you want to put there. 250 employees maybe. Okay. It really doesn't matter. So once you have put that information, let's go ahead and click next. And then it's going to text you, so hopefully your number is correct here, and go ahead and click that send verification code. Okay. So I got my verification code, click verify, got it. So guys, here we need to create our domain name, and just like the format we took last time in last course as well, so you can go for GB and your first name, and then today's date, that is 14 Jan 2021. If you don't find this there, you can just put some unique name there as well. Your favorite food or anything, favorite car, favorite president, right? So whatever you want to put there. Um, okay, so I'll just click check availability here. Okay, it's available. So I'm just gonna keep going here and check availability. And so okay, so once that is done, hopefully it's done for you as well. So I'm going to click next now, and then it's asking that what's the first username with that domain that you've created. Hopefully everyone was able to create that. So I'm going to put admin here just like before, the admin at your domain name with today's date, right? And the password, well, you can give the class password, which was small ABC, capital ABC. Keep pressing Shift 123 and without Shift 123, but it may not be accepted. So it may not be accepted. So we can go for small XYZ, or you can go for any complicated password, complex password, but just don't forget it. That's the main thing. I'm gonna go for small XYZ, capital XYZ, Shift 123 without Shift 123, and it shows here. Oops, XYZ, capital XYZ, Shift 123 without Shift 123. And we're not gonna select those two options. These are just for marketing purposes. I'm gonna click sign up. And it is creating the account. Okay, it's created, and I need that information, so I'll actually, normally I take a picture with my cell phone as well, because then I tend to forget. So we'll just take a picture here. Okay, and I'll just put that information because I will be in next class. I'm sure I'm going to be looking for it. So I'll just put it in the course page as well. Important information. And the most important information is what's my username, or what is the format of your user that you've created there. So next time you can also come here and just check that. That's the way you may have created the username as well. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and simply go to setup, and it takes a little time to show the SharePoint and Teams applications. Oh, it comes directly to this one. Normally it used to go for completing the setup there, and we have to exit setup, but it's just on the main page, the headquarters, we can say, the admin 365 admin center, and you can remember the red square there, that's the main admin center. And I'm going to click show all here. Once you click show all, so it actually shows SharePoint right away and Teams. So I'll click SharePoint since it's showing, and well, that's the SharePoint page. So it is opening for me fine. Home, site, policies, settings, content services, migration. Then there are more features: OneDrive Admin Center, customize navigation, and show all. Well, that's pretty much all for the SharePoint. application. But if I go to the admin center back here, so there's Teams here as well. So I'm going to click that Teams, and it has its own enterprise grade. Okay, it's not opening for me. This means, yeah, Teams has that issue with the incognito. I think, yeah, I have to go to the normal browser to get Teams open, but it's showing here, so obviously it's going to open here as well. Okay, so SharePoint is open. This is pretty straightforward, and you have your Office 365 open. Just remember your admin username and your password, and the link for that. The link would be, so in next class, in all next classes, we will excuse me, go to the portal, to the https:// portal.office.com, and that's it. Put your user and PW that you created today. So that's I'll just put that username, in fact, here as well. Okay, so that's one thing, and so we have created our Office 5 E5, and we have access to SharePoint and Teams Online as well. Now, second thing is that I can just go for this share button and just get you all added to this course, OneNote as well. So this is the first day is a good time, and the rest of the course, then we don't have to worry about that. So I could just have your ID there. You can put your ID on the chat, and I could just add you one by one there. I have to just check that you're able to connect. I mean, like, I'm able to discover you or not. So Cameron has put his ID there. Am I able to? Okay, yeah, that's it, right? Okay. And there is Eric. Yeah. Just, ooh, wow. Okay, that's a spam now. That's a lot of. Yeah, and everyone. Okay. So it's good to confirm in the class that we're connecting. Otherwise, we just face those problems throughout the course. Andrews there. Jacob. And hopefully is detected. Ready. On. So you can also confirm if you can see that once I click the send button, you should be going to the shared with me, and hopefully it just shares right away. Yesterday's cloud class, the other batch, your friends, they all got connected right away. They already saw that within 5 minutes. So hopefully Microsoft is still working fast today as well. KM. Okay, Kingsley. And so do not put the ID again if you have put it already. Okay, we got all. So I'm just gonna click send here, and off. What you need to check is you can go to OneNote here, and once you're logged into George Brown Office 365, then you would see OneNote, and then shared with me. Under share with me, it should be there. If it doesn't come right away, then it will come after some time. So just be patient with it. You've gone through this in last course as well. So for some it just appears right away here under share with me, and for others it appears after some time or even after one day. So yeah, we can just say welcome to Microsoft. Okay. So once that is done, so you should be able to then see what I'm going to be putting there, and what else to set up. Yeah, I have to just upload all the topics there, all the things there on the Blackboard. Will do. I'll go back to uh, this the slide. So we have created already the Office 365. Let me just quickly put that diagram in SharePoint. Okay, so now Microsoft has enabled SharePoint Online in Office 365 since 2010, which is a long time in the world of corporate intranets. Still, its true origins are much older than that. SharePoint Online is the latest iteration of Microsoft SharePoint Server, a product that has been around for almost 14 years. So yes, SharePoint versions were also there, just like Exchange Online versions were there. So, well, SharePoint was on premises till the last 2 years. They've really pushed everyone towards online versions. Otherwise, it had been companies still have on-premises SharePoint there, and they have actually connected that on-premises to cloud or shifted to cloud. So more than 200,000 organizations and 190 million people have SharePoint for intranets, team sites, and content management. So wherever you see SharePoint, you will be seeing the word Teams or my Teams Online or Team sites as well. So this is what we're going to explore in this course. And there's a create a team site. So there's that option as well. A team site is a place on the intranet for your project, team, department, or division to store and access resources. So pages, lists, libraries. Now you can create pages. Maybe in Facebook you create pages, and I don't think in Instagram you create page, right? No. Okay, but on Facebook you create a page. So that's the same page you can create in your that SharePoint as well. Lists you can create there, list of things, list of products, list of all the components you have, list of all the employees within SharePoint, and libraries that has a lot of other tools there for collaboration and information maintenance. So pages, lists, and libraries in a team site. We're still talking about a site which is you create in SharePoint, but you can create two types of sites there. One is communication site, other is team site. So and then that team site creates a team as well. I'm saying that obviously once you do it, once you go through the lab, you will understand what I'm talking about. But they're so interconnected with each other that when you create a SharePoint site, you get a team as well. So it is called, suppose it's a sales team. So you create a team called sales. You create, so team is that unit where inside you can put users and all the collaboration tools as well. You can manage files, gather and track data, and keep everyone up to date with news, tasks, and deadlines from your team site. So we're going to be exploring the team site in detail and how it's connected to that team's software. Share files and collaborate. Yeah, so that's pretty much what it does. Well, day-to-day tasks are these, but we're gonna go for in-depth more tasks there. So use SharePoint for collaboration with your teams, including managing and sharing files or folders. So that's one thing. Within team sites or intranet sites and across your organization, share files, data, news, and resources. Collaborate effortlessly and securely with team members inside and outside your organization. So yes, whatever device you have, since you can install team software there, so whatever you see on your laptop, that how many teams are there, how many conversations are going on, how many tools have been shared, the same thing you will see on any of the devices, because it's going to synchronize across the devices. Create lists. So that's also a list is also a component in SharePoint. A list is a collection of information that you share with team members. For example, you can create a sign up sheet for an event or track team events on a calendar. A SharePoint list is a place for you and your coworkers to organize items. So it's all about organizing items, calendars, to-do lists, and timelines. Well, many of the SharePoint components are there. Put your intranet in your pocket. Uh, do your best wherever you are with the SharePoint mobile apps for Android, iOS, and Windows devices. So yes, you can download the SharePoint software in your cell phone and then just connect from there. But obviously, when employees put SharePoint and Teams in their cell phone, and suppose the cell phone is stolen or lost, then very critical company data could be at stake. It could be having that threat of being stolen by those people who can sell it to their rival companies. So when you do access in cell phone your team's data, then it has to be very secure as well, right? And we're going to talk about security. We can also send a remote wipe. You must have heard about that. Oh, okay. He is saying add please. Thanks. Okay. Okay. So yeah, there's a remote wipe command as well. And if you report to your administrator, hey, my cell phone is gone, so in that case, you can send a remote wipe, and your cell phone will be formatted as soon as it is powered on and it's receiving telecom signals. So it will be formatted. So we're gonna try to, normally in the hey, we did that actually in the Exchange Online. So, or at least I may have mentioned that, but I can show you here as well that yes, you can just send a remote wipe command and it could just format your whole cell phone. So here, well, the exam name used to be 70-347 exam. If you wanted to give some certification there, then you can give that certification for SharePoint and Teams. My suggestion would be most critical certifications are Exchange Online and Teams Online. SharePoint Online certification. So so it would be here, and I'll just put that SharePoint. So there's the course, and these are all Microsoft official courses, and the certification for, and this is talking about SharePoint 2016. Okay, I did enter courses section, that's why it's just showing online courses. and SharePoint Online certification training. So it's part of Microsoft 365 certification, and one of them is skills measured, configure and manage SharePoint Online. So that's part of this Microsoft 365 certification. So if you want to go for Microsoft 365 certified teamwork administrator associate, then one is this SharePoint server hybrid, and the other is deploying Microsoft 365 teamwork. That has the SharePoint certification. So, but SharePoint specifically is MS301 certification here. Okay, so I'll just put that. In fact, this is not an official information from Microsoft. Wow, Microsoft did not even. The above link is the only one that is coming from Microsoft. Anyway, I'll just put that information there. I'll go for teamwork, and now it's going to take that things to the Microsoft. Yeah, so this is a SharePoint. So 2 courses need to be done to get the teamwork administrator associate, and then there's SharePoint there as well. I'm going to put that here on for your reference. SharePoint Online certification. Okay, so if we go ahead, then there is that provision SharePoint Online site collections. So site collection. Oh yeah, there's. Oh, hey, we just started. So yeah, today it's gonna be a bit short. We're gonna just go for introduction of major topics, and you wanna. So it's just 1 hour, and Hamid is asking for break. So yeah, it's been long since we had. Well, you've been having classes this week. So yes, 8 o'clock is the break time, but we can have the introduction till that time, and we can have a much longer break. Even by 8 o'clock, we will finish our introduction. So if you want that, or you want a break now, up to you. So here, anytime break. Okay. Yeah, well, from next classes, it's going to be a lot of labs coming your way, and again, screenshots. Today is just, we're going to have introduction and go. So, if you specifically, if you specifically want a break, then let me know. Otherwise, at 8 o'clock, we can take a, if our introduction is finished by that, then we can just meet next week, and we can finish the class by 8 as well, or 8:30. Okay, so let's go for the rest of the introduction here, and that is configure external user sharing. There is create SharePoint site collection and plan a collection, collaboration solution. So there's that site collection. That is the top site. No, the top we can say the outer boundary we can say is the site collection, and inside the site collection we create a lot of sites and subsites as well. It's URL under the URL, right? So there are external sites, there are internal sites. We're going to be creating all those, and then there's settings there to the configurable options that control the behavior of SharePoint Online, including security, resource quotas, and warnings. Sharing is there, and you can share with internal and external users. And major components are then the components itself, which are understand different applications used to enhance a collaboration environment. Additional applications and functionality include Yammer, OneDrive for business. So we're going to talk about OneDrive, which we haven't talked before, but it is totally integrated with SharePoint. And then Delve, DLP. We have talked about DLP and checked it in Exchange Online. Data loss prevention. Then Office 365 groups. We talked about that in Exchange Online, and co-authoring. This is just to have become a co-author, or just to have some delegated privileges on shared documents. And then there are SharePoint Online admin roles. So global administrator, we already have created global administrator when we were in Exchange Online course. And so there is specific SharePoint Online administrator as well. And then there is site collection administrator. So global administrator, SharePoint Online administrator, site collection administrator here. And then, normally I would, when I say lab, so this is just that creating your E5 package there. But we're going to be doing much longer labs, obviously, in next classes. um, hmm, that should not be on the first day for the lab, but and then yeah, we can connect from SharePoint with PowerShell as well, and we can then there are so many PowerShell commandlets there for SharePoint. So that's management server showing well, and some of the PowerShell commandlets there that if you want to create a new site as well, and normally SharePoint commandlets are connect-sp. So SPO is SharePoint Online, right? So SPO service. And then you want to create a site from PowerShell, you can just create it like that and give credentials as well, which is global admin credentials there. And new SPO or SPO would be SharePoint Online site. So this is how it is created. And obviously we will be then going for that SharePoint sites as well later. Now there are some more introductions there. In fact, there are just 114 slides there that might finish at 12:30 tonight or maybe 2 a.m. 2:30 a.m. I'm definitely going to make sure that by 2 a.m. It will be done, right? So, I'm just yeah, I'm gonna go for main points here only, and then I'll shift to Teams as well for its introduction, and then we can just meet next class to do all the labs. So typical SharePoint site may contain document library, picture library, wiki page library, form library, list web part. So web part is there that is like a widget, and the widgets are what? Very small utilities. Suppose there's a clock widget, there's a calendar widget, right? Or some other small utility. So those are also called web part here that you can add to your sites. Discussion boards, contacts, and content editors, links. Just like a typical website would have all these components, you can have in your SharePoint sites as well. And this is how a SharePoint site looks like. Typical, you know, template there. There are so many other templates that are available as well. So SharePoint family is composed of all these components: Windows SharePoint services, site framework foundation, web parts, web part pages, lists, sites. So these are the component names there, but obviously we'll have lab for majority of these components there to understand how each component work. Collaboration features, document management, workspace sites, and surveys, discussions. So whatever a typical site would have for employees of a company. SharePoint portal, server, and application are WSS, and user profiles. Other than that, sites, workspaces, and areas would include team sites, meeting workspaces. SharePoint portal server would include areas and personal sites. So they do have personal sites option there, but it has been removed in newer versions. Sites and workspaces. So top level site is there. Then you can create child site inside under the top level site, and then you can create child site as well, or you can say grandchild site as well. So we're going to be creating all those top level sites and child sites and child of the child sites as well. Page customizations include themes, cascading style sheets, Front page, are you kidding me? So I need to really update this one. Now this SharePoint, some of the components are actually belonging to older SharePoints. Not only that, but on-premises SharePoint, right? And where is the content? Normally, wherever you upload, where does it get saved? In SharePoint Online, it gets saved in OneDrive, while in on-premises, obviously, it gets saved in the SQL Server and or in the file servers. So application area, all the files are there, and content area is in SQL Server. So well, then site definition. Each site definition defines a unique type of SharePoint site. Multiple site definitions ship Microsoft Windows SharePoint services. Um, hmm. And some of the components of site definitions are showing here: XML files, ASPX pages, document templates, content files. SharePoint development. Normally, these terminologies will be uh, repeating again and again, right? So we'll be just checking it out. And this is just some more colorful way to for the introduction of SharePoint there. People, devices, social, cloud, control. So even in 2012 they were talking about cloud. Obviously cloud started in 2006. And then Office 65 SharePoint is very crucial part of that. Now we would want to know about online versions, but this is also talking about on premises, and it shows hardware configuration: 64-bit processor, 4 cores minimum, and RAM 24 GB, but 12 GB is minimum, although it does not say here. Hard disk 80 GB minimum. So depends on when you are deploying on premises, how do you do that. Okay, so Eric says, what are the non-Microsoft alternatives to SharePoint? G Suite is non-Microsoft alternative. So Google Suite, and that is also when you go for Google Workspace, and this normally is called G Suite dashboard. So it offers pretty much everything that Office 365 offers. It is cheaper than Office 365, but since MS Office is being used a lot, so you cannot relate this to MS Office. It has its own Open Office. So many people go for, they're so used to Office 365, so they go for that. But I've seen one full college totally on Google Suite, and it's perfect. It's a perfect alternative to Microsoft 365. Okay, how about non-Google? Well, then there are. I would have to. These are the two famous ones. I think VMware also has a workspace there. So collaboration software and online and websites as well. So there could be many unknown third-party collaboration software there. 10 best collaborative tools. Otherwise, collaboration software. 31 best collaboration. These are just talking about tools, but mainstream I've heard till now. If anyone else has heard anywhere else, so you can just mention that. Otherwise, it's Microsoft 365 or Office 365. Other than that, yeah, if there are, I have yet to hear. Okay, so Google Suite really is good, very good, and cheaper. But companies would, in fact, many companies went for Google Suite first, and then they had to go to Microsoft 365 because of security and meetings and conferences related tools there, and capacity, how the licensing works. So Microsoft appeals more to big companies and small companies as well. Okay, so then there's database servers that has to be deployed as well, and minimum hardware requirements are 64-bit 4 cores, 64-bit and 4 cores for small deployment, and 64-bit 8 cores for medium deployments, and RAM is 8 GB, 16 GB for medium deployments. Obviously, we're working online, so but this is just extra information there. And it shows here web tier, application tier, and then database tier. So it's a multi-tiered deployment of SharePoint that normally happens on premises for big companies. Otherwise, one SharePoint is good enough for the companies, for small companies there. Not like small, maybe medium-sized companies would need SharePoint. Small companies might not even need that. Now, Exchange Online has really made it so easy for every small, medium, and big company. SharePoint is always there. And software requirement, if you had if you had to install it on your on-premises servers, then it is web server. You have to install web server, then .NET framework, and then Microsoft Information Protection and Control Client, Windows Identities, SQL Native, Sync framework. So all these were the prerequisites for SharePoint deployment. And then there is database servers, which would now be to 2016 or 2017, 2019 SQL servers for latest SharePoint edition. If I go to SharePoint latest on premises, so latest SharePoint on premises, so best SharePoint intranet SharePoint 2019 is there. Okay, so with SQL Server 2019, SharePoint 2019 can be deployed, and what we see, the new version online, is what will be available if you deploy SharePoint on your servers on premises. So it would be the same. And so there's SharePoint Online is licensed on a per user basis. You can purchase SharePoint Online as a standalone plan or include it as part of Microsoft 365 plans. While on-premises intranet sites are licensed using a server plus CAL client access license model. SharePoint 2019 is required for each running instance of the software, and client access license or CALs are required for each person or device accessing a SharePoint server. So that's how Microsoft became a $1 trillion company. So SharePoint Standard CAL and then Enterprise CAL are there. So for each user, you're purchasing a license, obviously. It's common for any other software as well. Okay, so this is just SharePoint 2019 licensing that is showing there. So I'm just gonna put that in SharePoint licensing. I'll go back here. So Office client minimum requirement. So now Office, when you deploy an Office, MS Office there, you need to connect it to it's not like you need to connect to SharePoint. You just upload it to SharePoint. SharePoint recognizes these MS Office applications there. And which are the browsers? This slide needs to be really updated because IE is just gone. Mozilla, Google Chrome, Safari is there, and Edge obviously is the new one which is supported. And but the components are still the same. They're called the same in SharePoint 2019. That's why I'm just showing that. So browser compatibility for publishing sites. So it is just compatible with all latest browsers in all the cell phones and tablets as well. Manage risk, manage cost, manage your time, find the perfect balance between compliance and collaboration. So compliance is obviously the main concern of every company. That is SharePoint really compliant in terms of security, in terms of high availability. So company normally puts up some policies there, and then just for the continuous availability of SharePoint. So what is the cost attached to it, if they have SharePoint on premises, or what is the cost attached to it if it's online, right? So thing is that is the deployment of SharePoint compliant with company or international standards as well of security, high availability? So definitely Microsoft is, as I said, trillion-dollar company now. So definitely it just complies with all the international standards, especially European data standards, GDPR they call it, where so they have given details of how data should be secured, where should it be put, how much high availability should be, how what kind of SLA should be there for high availability and disaster recovery. So Microsoft complies with all those standards there. So enterprise content management, create, control, protect. This is then what happens. You create a content and you control it with managed content policy, information architecture, taxonomy, and then protect as well. Reduce risk and manage compliance with centralized e-discovery tools. So we talked about e-discovery in Share Exchange Online as well. So e-discovery is there that will search data and put data on hold for you know all the other whichever employees are under investigation and whatever data is suspicious. So enterprise content management, there is site level retention policies there, and then there's discovery center there. So on the site, whatever data you want to retain, obviously then you have to create retention policy for that. We talked about retention policies in Exchange as well, so it's pretty much the same concept there, that you want to retain data on the site, or after some time you want it deleted. Then you when it is it dynamic data, is it coming from a SQL server and it is coming up again, being updated regularly? So all that matters. So and Discovery Center here is actually in the previous slide, this Discovery Center is actually a website template that is available in SharePoint, where there's a search engine window is showing there, just like Google, and you can just discover all the applications by making search there. So internet sites, then you can just design external sites as well, but obviously these templates are the templates that are available, the designs that are available for it's for the companies, and you can create a lot of attractive sites there, normally for companies. And web content management, so all that support the tools and workflows. Designers use variations and content translation. So all the tools that are needed in today's website are available through SharePoint as well for corporates there. And then connected experiences, get connected, share knowledge, work together. We've been doing that anyway on Facebook, on Instagram, right? We're connected, we're sharing knowledge. So this is not a very new concept for us. But if you were like a decade ago, like in 2004, 2005, if you were there, then it would have been, wow, we can share, connect, and collaborate online, really. So right now it's like we do it every day. So social microblogging there, activity feeds, so you can just provide all that for employees as well. And discussion forums, communities, you can create communities related website, you can create there. Now since we're connected to companies with Teams online, in the morning when I connect, I connect to Teams, and there's a virtual kitchen they have created where we can just discuss anything, any news, and share jokes. So even CEO or CFOs comes there and make jokes there. So we're just sitting from home and connecting to each other through Teams software, and connecting live, and sharing pictures, today's news and everything. So and mobile, then classic and contemporary views for mobile browsers. So when you're creating a site, it should be cell phone compatible as well. Obviously now today's sites are all basically tablet and cell phone compatible. So when you create a site in SharePoint, normally it is always by default cell phone and tablet compatible with different views and different sizes. It just adjusts right away. So all the required tools are already provided by SharePoint. And then search, find, answer, and extend. So yeah, search capabilities are amazing, and when we go to check the search features there, so there are like 15 or 16 features there, and 15 or 16 configurational settings there that are for just search. So you can just really optimize your search and really control how users are searching the documents in the company SharePoint portal. So you can control the whole search there. Yeah, so when you create a site, there are templates that are just for search as well. And we're going to see that business intelligence then comes and explore. So business intelligence is very interesting that you can connect all the banking applications to SharePoint. SharePoint has connectors to those applications as well, and then all the data that is created can be placed inside SharePoint sites as well. And Excel BI instant analysis through in-memory BI engine or business intelligence engine, Excel services. So any data in Excel can be imported into SharePoint as well, and intelligently made available with proper graphs-based diagrams. Business intelligence, it still goes on. Visual services, you're creating for engineers, for AutoCAD and other experts. They can also create or connect with SharePoint Visual Services and Visual Connector there, and whatever designs they create for buildings and offices can be added automatically to SharePoint, and without losing any of those diagram related specifics. And then build apps. Yes, that's another very interesting option in actually Microsoft 365, and that is called Power Apps. Power Apps is that you build your own app for the company, and Microsoft follows that one principle called low code or no code. So LOW, low code, means you don't have to be a programmer to build an application or app for the cell phone for the company, and you don't have to. So low code or no code. So no code is obviously no coding at all, and you just click and define what you need, and the app will be created for you, for your company, with whatever kind of functionalities you want to give. So Power Apps is a full separate certification. There's a Power family there, so Power Apps, and then there is a virtual assistant there, Power BI there, business intelligence. So that's where you can create your own apps with low code or no code concept. So you don't have to be a programmer to build an app, and you can create for companies a lot of apps. And then, well, we're not talking about SharePoint 2013. SharePoint 2019 is what we're talking about, but many of the concepts or many of the terminology basically are same, but major features we have already talked about. So cache services, they're normally with the on-premises servers, because caching is all about you save some data for frequent usage, and so, well, it's not really important in online, but you get to know some terminologies for on-premises, SharePoint as well, and RM request management to give SharePoint knowledge of and more control over incoming requests. So incoming requests will be coming a lot, and online this feature is available. And then comes new replacement for web analytics service. So analysis is always one thing that every company is interested in. So there are analytics related applications that can be connected, and there are some tools inside that you can analyze a huge amount of data and make some very intelligent reports about that. And themes, so all kinds of themes and fonts are there available, just like and background images that are, some of them are free ones that you can use, others you can purchase to create a good company corporate website. So, and theme experience, so you can actually put a full theme of the whole page there, of the whole site, and the subsites and the pages. You can just change their theme, the colors, the fonts, so everything, the whole look can be put made different. So one lab we're going to be doing for this as well, obviously. Then web apps are all supported here, yeah, the typical apps. And then all web apps, office web apps for SharePoint, all kinds of apps are, you will see a long list of apps. In fact, you already seen that because in Exchange Online you've been seeing that we can add from an app store which has like 3,500 plus apps there, right? So why two dedicated office web apps? Why two dedicated web? So so apps are not all available for just specific settings. They are now available for from third party as well, and easier consuming of Office web apps functionalities without complex SharePoint federation. So now apps can be added so easily that you can just understand and try to start working on it. And yeah, so web app URLs could be looking like this if you're adding some custom made app there and upload it to some hosting service. So, and then you want to add that app to your Office SharePoint. And Office web apps and UI options. So that's for programmers as well. And whatever apps they have created, that it will show like this. And then there is Office web apps collaboration. So obviously all web apps, suppose you create a Visio page, then you can just add it to MS Word, and then you create an MS Word, you can just add that data. Suppose there's a lot of data, you can add it to, import it to Excel. So all that, there's compatibility with each application is there within the browser. And new added view capabilities, obviously that's just not new, we use it all the time. This is another template that SharePoint looks like, and team site with share your site, working works or deadline, add list libraries. So we're going to be working on all that. We're going to be creating sites there as well. Developer site, a little different template, and then there's a document site that is a different template. Announcement template is shown there. So, well, guys, this is SharePoint, and this is the introduction for that. So we're going to be, we have created the Office 365 already, and we're going to be then starting to do all the labs there. And basically that's what I was planning today, that we'll have some brief introduction, and if there are questions there for SharePoint, you can let me know. Otherwise we can meet next week on Thursday for the actual labs and screenshots and everything, right? So this is pretty much the introduction that I was planning to give, and that we're prepared for. Next week we're just going to log in from the portal, and we're going to start with the same rule of 10 screenshots, and you're going to be following all the labs with me with your own name showing in every screenshot. So the rules are all the same, and we're going to do all the labs. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, see you next Thursday. Right. If you were listening to me all this time. Oh, you were. Okay. So, okay. Thanks. Night. Alright. Bye-bye. I'll be putting all the stuff there on Blackboard and uploading this video.